What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to another episode of the Blast from the Past catalog series. Today we're taking a look at the 1998, and I have to say that this is one of the best catalogs ever. I actually have a lot of nostalgia for the sets that are found in here. This is when I was a kid, but there's just all in all a ton of great themes that are inside of it. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And to start us off, we'll just take a look a little bit more at the front of the catalog. This looks so good. You can obviously see Johnny Thunder is running away from the Sphinx. And then you have some Aquazone, some 90s space minifigures, some adventurers, Native Americans, ninja. This catalog has it all, but let's open her up. Let's show you guys what we got. So here's all the different themes. Guys, if you look at this, there's really not any one bad theme during this time. I mean, the radio controls may be the least good, or maybe that Technic dude. Actually, that Technic dude, I do not like him. Technic actually used to have minifigures, believe it or not. But overall, I mean, there's so many good things going on in here. So, right off the bat, they start off strong with the Temple of Anubis. I own this set. It's one of my all-time favorite sets. It may be my favorite adventure set, and it is just absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have to try not be too enthusiastic just because there's so many different models in here that I really like. Moving onwards. Oh, this set. Guys, I actually don't own this one. This was a little bit more rare for the adventurer theme. A little harder to find. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. I thought that this was more so like it wasn't a Comic-Con set, but it was just a little bit harder to find. But I think that they did actually have this in North America. So they didn't generally show them in the catalog. So anyways, I got to keep my eye out on this one. I do plan on hopefully getting it. Moving into the middle, this is what I really liked about the old school catalogs that actually show a little scene, of the Sphinx. And that's what they did right here. Whereas, nowadays it's just generally they show the sets like so. This, they actually bothered to actually, make a scene out of it, put a background around it. Even gets into some of the features. And then moving to the right side, there's the Sphinx again, some of the smaller sets. There's not a single bad set in the Egypt Adventure line. Just gonna say it. Moving on, we have the Insectoids. I know a lot of you guys really like this theme. I hope to get more of these sets. The only one I actually own out of this theme is this little ship right here. They had these light up pieces. Like right here, that's a light up piece. And it points out that it was even light and sound. So I'd like to actually get my hands on one of these sets because I don't know what that's all about. They also had these magnetic little pieces. Everything here was made to look like an insect, and I just think that was such a cool mix between space and basically insects. Even the minifigures sort of look insecty if you get actually a little bit close. Now we got UFO. This is what I mean. This is just jam-packed full of goodness. UFO, another great theme. Love the translucent green. This one and Insectoids are kind of like pretty similar. Then we got RoboForce. These were the guys that fought UFO. These were not civilians. These were military, and I absolutely love them. The only one I don't own out of here is the middle one, the Scorpion. For the UFO, I actually recently just got this set. I hope to review it for you guys sometime soon. I have reviewed this one, which is actually quite cool as well. Slightly smaller than the basically mothership. I don't know what you want to call this, the flagship of the UFO. Moving to the next page. Look at this, like every single page is amazing. We have Aquazone. Then we have the Stingrays. These are actually quite interesting. These are the Hydronauts. They remind me of the Aquanauts, but they're a little bit different. They're more so green and yellow, not blue and yellow. Really cool looking base. I'd like to eventually own this. Then moving on to the Stingrays. So cool. I love the translucent green, the black, and these are the two guys facing off. I think they are at odds against each other. We had the Aqua Sharks and the Aquanauts, and this is kind of continuing that theme. These were the last that were made, unfortunately. They didn't continue after this. Then we also had the Aqua Raiders, which were kind of in the middle. These guys actually remind me the most of the Aquanauts, but the one thing I hated about them is I don't really like these eyes. They were stickers. I actually owned this one, but I still own it, but it's really beat up. But yeah, this was an interesting theme, but probably my least favorite of the Aquazone sets. Then we had the Fright Nights. This was an interesting one. I guess it bodes well with Halloween and whatnot. Some pretty cool buildings. They use a lot of these big ugly rock pieces to kind of make up their stuff, but I mean, not the end of the world. I would love to own some of these sets. The dragon too, look at that dragon, it looks amazing. And then we have Ninja. Every single page in here is like at least an 8, if not a 9 or 10. Again, I'm gonna try not be so enthusiastic. This set, the Flying Fortress, great set. I have reviewed it. Yeah, if you're looking for an awesome overall 90s set, go with this one, especially if you like Castle and you like Japan. Perfect mix. Then we have some more Ninja sets. They had these awesome looking little hang gliders. Yeah, there's the Shogun himself. And now we've come to Wild West. This is what I mean by saying this is maybe the best catalog I've ever reviewed, I've ever seen, just because every one of these is great. So we have the Native Americans. Very cool looking theme. Probably will never bring this out ever again, just because it gets a little controversial, I guess, unfortunately. But I really like this theme. I own a number of these as well. And then the Wild West, you can't beat it. I mean, that just looks so great. You got the Fort Lego Rado, possibly the best Fort Legos ever made. This really needs to be remade. We really need a Wild West theme to return. If you include the Lone Ranger, I guess, but it's not as good as this. Hopefully we get something like this in the near future. This is a little bit less controversial. And then moving on, we have some Lego City sets. Now this was actually an interesting time. Notice that they use black and green, like green windows. I don't think they've ever done that before or after, so we'll give it unique points. I don't exactly love these city sets, but they're not terrible. I actually always wanted, or I remember wanting this set just because it has a little bit of everything. You get some city vehicles, helicopter, and yeah, overall decent looking. There's one of the people packs. And then we have the Extreme Team. I know a number of you guys in the comments have been mentioning this. And yeah, this theme actually had some cool models. I actually would like to get my hands on this set one of these days. Interesting looking vehicles. They were all about rescuing people and also going fast. I mean, just look at that. They're into extreme sports. Basically, some of them are made to, kind of rescue people. Actually, no, there was another theme that went along with this from City, and they were rescuing people. These guys were all about extreme sports. And they were actually pretty good for the 90s. I mean, check out that rocket car. That looks pretty cool. Okay, this is what I mean. Rescue. These guys were all about rescuing people. So there's chaos everywhere, and these guys are here to save the day. I like the color scheme too. It's black, yellow, blue. It reminds me of Bumblebee a little bit. And this is what I mean. They just have these awesome looking little scenes that they just don't do nowadays. This is a rarity, and this was something that was just common in the 90s. So they really put forth the effort with their artwork. Moving on, we have Divers. Now this is actually very underrated. In fact, did they even mention this on the beginning of the catalog? I'm not sure, but I recently reviewed this set. Really cool set. I mean, check out that base. I feel that these diver sets are better than the ones we get nowadays. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that, but I think they're pretty cool. Moving on, we have Outback. This was a very short-lived theme. It was basically based off of the Australian Outback, and they had some interesting sets. And then we had Time Twisters, possibly the oddest looking theme. They had a little bit of everything in it, which made it kind of interesting if you're looking for pieces, but the builds just look kind of wonky in my opinion. They're just showing the two bad guy sets. They actually, yeah, they don't really show any of the good guy sets. Then we have the radio control. This was, yeah, it's a remote control Lego set. Not bad. Moving on, not really my thing. Then we had the bungee chopper for Technic. Technic's been around for a long time. Some people think it's a relatively new theme. It is not. It's been around for well over 20 years. Then we had the Cyber Slam. Now, these are the minifigures I'm talking about. I detest these dudes. They're awful. It didn't last long either. It wasn't very popular. A lot of people felt the same way as I do. It was just bad. Whereas Technic on its own is not terrible. It's not my type of thing, but they make some really good models. These, I don't really think were part of them, especially not these minifigures. And then the last page, we got actually some nice looking, these are nice looking Technic sets. I actually quite like that motorcycle. And then we have Join the Lego Club. So if nothing else dates it, this is what we used to have. You could actually send in your Lego creations, which was actually quite interesting. They also had the Mania magazine. I always envied people that had that just because I never did get them. I think it was a monthly subscription. Very cool. And then on the back, it just shows him a little bit more. Yeah, and bear in mind, this is a North American catalog. So that adventure set is something that I will keep my eye on. But yeah, that pretty well does the catalog. Let me know what you guys think about the sets found in here. Maybe which one's your favorite. If there's a set that you maybe had back when you were a kid that you really, really liked. Like myself, a lot of these sets I absolutely adore that are found in here. But yeah, that pretty well does the video. But if you liked it, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future Blast from the Past catalog series episodes. We do one of these basically once a month, and I love going through them. I tried not to be too enthusiastic. This was my childhood, and they had so many great sets back in the day. But yeah, that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.